Bro, sorry, I've got to pull you up straight away. Young Bane.
Young Bane?
That
what
intro.
Do you mean?
That intro.
Yeah.
It sounded hella similar to a Young Bane song.
Oh, is it? I didn't know, man. Shout out to
a banger. It's a banger, bro. It's a banger. So salute for it, bro.
Yeah, nah, appreciate it, man.
I've just been vibing to it in my headphones thinking, hold on, what's this?
Yeah, nah, I hear it, man. Big up to Tarai, he produced the beat, man. So big up to him. But welcome back to Saeed TV. This is your Premier League debate show, a new segment on the channel every Thursday, 6 p.m. Big up to everybody who's locked in. We got the panel in the building. We got Guna Lee in the building. What you say, Guna Lee, man? Fresh off to Barcelona. You know what I mean? I know the setback you had against United was a bit too much, so you had to come out and show yourself against Barcelona, man.
Listen, I don't know. I'm not gonna be here taking any nonsense from anyone, but listen, shout out to everyone. And yeah, listen, life's good at the moment. Life's not too bad. But yeah, I'm sure we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Big up to you, man. We got Daps on the channel, man. It's been a long time coming, man. They say that I didn't like you and all that and this and that, but I was like,
so you heard the rumors as well, then, bro?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. They were like, yo, man, why you not bringing Daps on the channel? Like,
so I haven't heard the rumors, but I did kind of feel like I kept saying to Cass, "What is this? Like, does Saeed not like me or something?" Because a year in, I'm still not sure, but we're hearing it. So
nah, it's all love.
I'm joking, bro. I'm joking.
Yeah, man. Nah, come on, man. Big up to you, man. And we got man like Errol in the building, man. You know what I'm saying to you? I dealt with a Scouser the other week, and you got another one here. Even though people don't assume there's black people, in Liverpool that have a Scouse accent. What is it like? They think that, you know what I mean? There's no black people in Liverpool.
I checked the comments the other day, and people seem shocked or something to see that there's black people up these ways, but we've always been here.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I met Errol at DR Sports' watch along for the Champions League final, and I'm like, yo, bro, I couldn't get my head around it, bro. I couldn't get my head around it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just looked at him and I was like, bro, what is going on here? Like, I don't know.
But wait till
it happens everywhere. When I go down south, people will automatically assume, oh, man's just got to be from London, innit? He's black with it. Like the rest of
you know what it is? You dress like a Londoner.
Nah, man's got drip. Hey. Liverpool man, Manny man.
Liverpool's not got drip. They got drip, man. These guys up north are just aliens. We're not aliens, you know. We actually know what we're doing.
I've been Manchester. I've been Newcastle, but you dress like a Londoner. I'll be honest, you do.
All right. Well, I'll take
that. That's London man trying to get props in it. That's
there you go. Listen, listen. Down south, we're the best, man. So it is what it is.
We've got one of the oldest black communities in the UK. Just for those that don't even know, do you get me? Like Liverpool, when before even the transatlantic slave days, this is obviously not football related, but just to give man history, we've got one of the oldest black communities. So when you hear black Scousers, it's very normal. There's plenty of us, and there should be more of us with more voices online. There's just not. So man's got to represent.
Shout out, man. Shout out.
Yeah, man. Nah, big up, man. Big up. We've got Sean in the building. Sean, Tottenham fan. What are you saying, man? You good, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm just a white kid from Surrey, from the suburbs, where most of the white kids are, you know.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, good, man. Thanks for having me back on. Shout out to the chat. Hope the chat's locked in. Appreciate you all. Good to see everyone.
Always nice to see you, Sean.
Man.
It is.
Yeah, man. Big up to you, man. Big up to everybody who's here, man. Big up Smokey Set is already coming with a super chat. So sick panel. Say loving this idea shamelessly. By the way, I can see why Tobes don't like Ramsdale and says he thinks he's better than he really is, man. Everyone's onto Ramsdale now, man. I don't know where it's come from, but it's the new, you know, David Gea left, and then everyone forgot that, you know, Ramsdale's still around, man.
You know why people are onto Ramsdale? You know why people are onto Ramsdale?
Why?
Because I'm not even right. Can we agree as a panel now? Yeah, if we say something like because of Arsenal fans, yeah, we're not saying like if I say because of Arsenal fans, I'm not directing it at Lee because I know maybe it isn't Lee's opinion, but we've got to talk like that, innit? That unfortunately, Saeed, you on Big Six, you have to represent United in it, and you have to just take the smoke.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not even going to say because of Arsenal, but because of media outlets. Like the minute man signed Onana, I'm seeing Ramsdale putting conversations with Edison, Alisson, Onana, and Ramsdale. And the truth is, I like Ramsdale as a goalkeeper. But for me, Ramsdale doesn't have the ball playing and the comfortable with his feet characteristics of Ederson, Alisson, and Onana. He has other qualities which make him good.
Than some of them,
yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, right? But in that case, put him in that conversation. Don't try and shoehorn him into a conversation with other people. Like, it doesn't mean we're disrespecting him, but because some outlets do that, we're like, right, we now have to talk on the fact that Ramsdale maybe isn't as good with his feet as Ederson or Onana. And that's why we talk on it. Like, I think Ramsdale's a good keeper, but he's not good with his feet like them, man.
He also needs to be careful that he doesn't fall into the Jordan Pickford trap for me as well, because I actually rate his goalkeeping ability.
Yeah.
But Jordan Pickford's one of them mans that has let his mouth run to no end. And that's where you end up in a sticky situation when you end up with these compilations where you've made X amount of mistakes or whatever. And I think Ramsdale's very vocal. And I think Arsenal fans rate that because they perhaps haven't had that in the past in their goalkeepers. But it's about containing it and then letting it go at the right time. So as long as he doesn't fall into that trap, I think he should be England's number one for me. He's up there.
100% he should be England's number one right now. 100%.
Yeah, he's up there as one of the better goalkeepers in the league. I think it was a massive step up for them last season, and I think he was pivotal to the title challenge that Arsenal ended up going on last season. Some of his saves against Liverpool. He got you a point at Anfield. So I rate him. I just hope that he can learn, and I think he's got to. He's young. He's got plenty of time to learn from a few things and tweak a few areas in his game.
Yeah, big up the dude says, hey, yeah, Ramsdale has the bozo gene. Yeah, listen, man. I think, you know what it is, yeah? I think with Ramsdale, I think there's areas in his game where he thinks he's better than what he is. I don't know, maybe it's a bit of a situation where he's got to humble himself. I don't know, but I think he's a good shot stopper. He's a good, modern day keeper. But again, everyone wants to have that new kind of, that new toy in it. You know what I mean? So soon.
Look, I've let everyone, and I don't really disagree with what a lot of people said. I don't think what Sean said, what Errol said, what Dap said, what Saeed said is wrong. But look, Saeed, you've made it to where you are. Why? Because you're who you are, right? You've gone on to do. You've gone on to go on to do stuff with YouTube itself, with the Big Six.
Yeah.
Gone to do Fox Sports, Fox 5 News, all of that stuff because of who you guys are. That's Ramsdale. You have to take a man for who he is. And if he likes to do the chatting, he has to back it up. If he's going to write checks, he has to cash them. And that's the same thing, whether it's for your manager, for whoever. So look, that's the first thing I'm going to say. Does he have the bozo gene? Nah, I think that's too far to say that. I think the bozo gene, that can be leveled at any man, at any player in a given moment. Yes, he's made a few mistakes. But listen, I saw Ederson make a few mistakes last season. It happens. He's not a crap keeper. He's probably third, fourth, maybe even first in some people's eyes, best keeper in the league or in the world, I should say. So it swings and roundabouts. So look, as I said, do I look at him and think he's made mistakes? Yeah, but I think people are crazy to put him in positions where, or in conversations with some of these other top goalkeepers. Sorry, the guy's only 25 years old, and you're putting him in conversations with Ederson, who I believe is 29. The likes of Alisson, who is 31, and there was an Onana who I believe is 27. Okay, not too much of a different age and disparity, but
so Onana's younger than that. Is he not younger?
No, he's 27, 28.
I thought he's younger.
So look, like all I'm saying, and look, I'm not, and I'll shout out to Sean. I know he's one of your mates, Sava. He made a good point. Just because a keeper is 25, it doesn't mean that they can make mistakes now and then they're going to continue to learn from that, and that we have to give them all this time. I agree with that, but he is only 25.
Yeah,
depends when you start, mate. It depends when we had this conversation like a few days ago on Slade's channel.
That's what Sava said. It is depending when you start, and he's been a keeper for a long period of time. But what I am saying, he hasn't been a top keeper. He hasn't been a long keeper at the top level for a long period of time, and that's what the difference is, where the pressure is, and that's where I think you need to build it up. You need to go into playing the Champions League. You need to play. I don't even know if he's played for England before. He needs to get a bit of time to have that experience, to play in these big games, have that pressure, and do what he did against Liverpool last season, where you are instrumental in saving a game and saving points for a team, and then you take it from there. So yeah.
Yeah, people saying there's a lag in the stream. Are you guys seeing a lag? Because I don't know.
I'm good,
a lag in the stream.
I'm good.
Yeah, it might be YouTube people, man. YouTube's bugging, man. I don't know what they've been doing lately, man. So if you are lagging, then you know what I mean. It is what it is. But let's get onto the breaking news, man.
Refresh your stream if you're lagging. Refresh the thing.
Yeah. All right, then. Let me come in and out then. But
Hi guys, welcome to Sai's channel. I know you didn't mean that, but he took that, so it's fine. Listen,
I'm talking to the chat. The chat.
I know you were, bro. Because the accent must have thrown him. It's mad. I'm understanding you more than he did. But
where's he gone? He's back.
Refresh my
No,
stream.
he was saying to them to refresh the stream.
Okay, my bad.
That was the boss of the stream already. Damn.
I thought it was kind of like refresh my thing if it was lagging. But I wanted to move over to Caicedo. Bit of breaking news on the Caicedo situation. New bid has come in for Chelsea for Caicedo. Understand new proposal was 80 million, 93 million euros, and it was immediately rejected by Brighton. Negotiations remain ongoing, but no agreement at this stage. Damn, man, they really pushing for that 90 million, 100 million bracket, man. They're not messing around, Brighton, man. They want their money. Chelsea are kind of dilly-dallying around. Yeah, they want Caicedo, but Brighton ain't messing around, man. They ain't messing around, are they? It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
You know what?
What do you think? What do you think, Mandem?
I feel like on it, yeah. Chelsea, I get what Chelsea are doing because they don't want to be taken for that club. And this is one that when I look at it, I think now where they are at the moment, the ball is a bit in their court, right? Because Liverpool seem to have played their hand with Lavia. United have played their hand with Amrabat. And then all of a sudden you're looking at Caicedo, you're looking at the cost of him, and you're looking at who else can afford Caicedo, right? So with Chelsea, I understand what they're doing, yeah? That they are trying to, I think whoever the new sports director that's come in is trying to get away from this Chelsea will pay whatever vibe, right? And because of the way the market is and the fact that everyone else has played their hands on their DMs, they can be like that. But the issue is they play Liverpool in what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, just over 2.
Right. And currently,
Brighton aren't in no pressure. Brighton.
I agree with you, but Chelsea,
there's no need for Brighton to sell another one of their players in this particular window.
Agreed.
Every right to hold out, though. Do you get me? So
and that's why it's stalemate. I agree with you. So that's why it's stalemate because Chelsea they want to pay as little as they can, and I get what they're doing, but it gets to a point where it's like you've got Liverpool in 3 weeks' time. You've done a great job getting rid of the players you needed to get rid of, but now you're left there with what have you got? And you're facing Liverpool in 3 weeks' time. I get you're trying to save money, but you probably need to just go, do you know what? Get this one over the line. Alternatively, if I was them right now, I'd be going, all right, Lavia's 40. What have Liverpool offered? 42?
So we're meant to be going back in with an improved bid this evening. Should be around 45.
So if Chelsea really don't want to pay 89 million, if I was Chelsea right now, I'd
he's already told.
Brighton actually expressed the price though.
No, so Chelsea was meant to have either last night or the day before. Chelsea was meant to have approached Southampton, and the player said to Chelsea, "Look, I've already agreed. I want to go and play football. So that's the project I want to be a part of."
They're going to have to pay on Caicedo in it and just accept it, or they're.
And Brighton actually expressed the price. Brighton said it's 100 million or no deal because I don't think Brighton.
When Arsenal went in January, I thought that's when Brighton kind of put the price tag on, man. But I might be wrong.
Yeah, but that was January. Like the market's inflated. There's so many teams, so many big teams that are fighting over. I mean, I think the DM market's a little bit more. There's a little bit more juice in the DM market. Like I think we're going to talk about the forwards a little bit later on. I mean, that market, all the big teams need a striker either now or next year, and there's so few nines out there. But the inflation generally this summer is, apart from with some weird stuff about if it's true that he can go for 20, that's a weirdly low price. If you've got Locatelli that's available allegedly for 22, 23 million, that's a weirdly low price. But generally speaking, the inflation in the market is pretty. You know, it's stretched to some weird levels. So if the 100 million was the price in January, it doesn't mean that it is now.
Would you care to speculate why there's been such a mad rise in inflation in the market, and especially in the midfield department this summer?
The obvious sort of third party coming into the play is Saudi Arabia, right?
Well, no. I
Okay.
think before that, I think we have to
Well, it depends.
we have to
The
talk
thing
about
is, right,
Chelsea. We have to talk about Chelsea. They're the ones
but
that
there
I
was
think
a release clause though. That was a release clause, Gunali, though. They had to pay that. Like, it's not as if they had a
No,
choice.
but my thing is though, like Chelsea have been doing this for a while. They've been gazumping. Look what they did with Mudryk. They, I think they paid more, and the way that they've ruined it as well is with the installments that they do. They kind of put in mad money up front. Whereas before, you would see clubs kind of happy with a structure of 4 years, 5 years. Whereas now they win it over 18 months, 24 months, and that's not really been the norm. But I think, look, Chelsea paid £100 million for Enzo. Brighton are within every single right.
100%.
If they want Chelsea to have a good season, Enzo's not going to work by himself, basically. So they know they can do whatever they want. They can put any price in it, because if they don't get the DM, Enzo's null and void, basically. So why not? And their owner, I believe, the Tony Bloom guy, he's a gambler. Now, if I know that I'm going up against a gambler,
hold on.
He's not a gambler. He's not a gambler.
He makes money off the gamblers.
He's a data magician who makes money off of gamblers.
Okay, fair enough. Well, he's got a sort of a background within that field. So if that's the case, then look, I mean, you're going up against somebody who he likes to play the odds. So for me, look, I'm as a Brighton fan, I want as much money as possible, because they've already replaced him with the guy from Dortmund at the end of last season.
He got that done early.
They got that done early. So for me, look, I just think the player hasn't actually come out. So as Dap said, it's not like, yes, okay, he did in January, but he's not done it again where he said, look, I want to leave in public. So yeah, look, I just think I think it's a thing where Chelsea just need to pay up the money, or as Arsenal get bantered for with when the Declan Rice thing, pay the money, you just shut up and keep it moving.
The other thing with Caicedo is that it's a bit like I always say this about Bernardo Silva, but when a player has wanted to leave and he hasn't got the move and he's stayed and he's continued to perform, which Caicedo did from January to May, that Brighton know if we keep him, he's not going to throw his toys out the pram, because we've already seen that. He'll continue to perform for us as well. And the other thing with Brighton is, I always say this, you have to remember, a bit like Arsenal in January, Arsenal took Trossard, then went back for Caicedo. If you take one asset off of someone, the next asset...
they're always going to put that one up.
Exactly.
Going to put it up.
And McAllister has gone this summer, right? So therefore, whoever gets the second one, you're going to pay a premium, because they've got rid of one midfielder. They don't want to get rid of another. But if you want him, pay what we want and you can have him. Otherwise, we'll keep him. And that is how it is. It's a hard situation. I think the other
market with Brighton right now.
And with DMs in this summer, you've got to remember, United were kind of after a DM, Arsenal were after a DM, Liverpool were after a DM, Chelsea were after a DM. Straight away, that inflates the market, because you got 4 of the top teams with the most money after DMs. So that pushes the price up. But the more DMs get taken away, the price will reduce, because it's supply and demand. So this Liverpool, Chelsea,
Ruben Neves going to Saudi Arabia early, like that he was one of the few DMs out there that were like could have easily commanded a team, or in any top 4 team in any of the leagues in Europe. Him going to Saudi Arabia took one of those few very worthwhile, useful.
They're going to inflate the market as well in their own aspect. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Sean. They'll inflate the market in their own aspect. It's not going to obviously kind of like, be a situation where we're involved, but it does kind of inflate like the whole market of DMs, like just in general. So
especially the wages, bro. Especially the wages.
Fabinho, man, 40 million. Like that, Liverpool must be loving life. Like 40 million for Fabinho, who I think for me is not the greatest player anymore. And he looks like for me, his legs have gone. But even that, I'm like, 40 million is a lot of money.
You know what, Saeed? You've been doing this for a while, though. You've been inflating the market for a while, man. So I think we need to just
talking about you paid 105 million for Declan Rice. Have you not just paid 105 million for Declan Rice?
Listen, hold on.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Hold on. Can I answer it? It's a bit part.
Can you answer that one though first?
It's a bit part answer. Yeah, I will. Yes, we did. But the reason why is because you've been paying 90 million for Sancho, 185 million pounds for. Hold on, no. Don't shake your hand. Don't shake your hand.
Stop though. The fact that you paid 105 million for
why?
Declan Rice.
It's a prerequisite. It's a byproduct of you doing season in, season out, paying over the players. That's the reason why. Because we can't blame
It's
Man
not
City.
really. It's you needed a player and you wanted him.
No, hold on. We can't blame Man City here. Yeah, I do believe, and listen, it's my opinion. I don't have any proof, but yeah, I do think that Man City have done some shady stuff.
How's that even in this conversation, bro?
But
that's shady from you, to be frank.
It's
crazy.
There's nothing factually that I can
just come on here and send shots just
there's
for
no
fun. Why
factual evidence. And Maguire, you paid that £80 million for Maguire.
Yeah.
Well. Let's not forget. So all I'm saying
maybe
is
it's United showing ambition, and Arsenal have never tried to do that. Like that's what it comes down to. If you want to be the top dog, and now you've realised you're a top dog, you want to pay money.
No. Let me just stop you there. You've been paying over the odds for in a one-horse race. You pay over the odds for players that no one wants to go, or that you're the only person that's going to get them. And you still, Man United.
No, when you look at it,
Man United and Liverpool, both after Sancho, they pulled out, and you still had to pay the full money.
Let me ask you a question though. If you want to be the best, yeah, and you pay for players,
you're missing the point. You're missing the point.
No, it's not about missing the point. No, when you look at it at that time, we wanted Wan-Bissaka because we thought at that point
you paid 50 million.
A situation where the manager was okay. 50 million is a different situation. I can't really sort that out. But if you want to act like a big club though, and you want to spend money on players, you have to spend that book. And now Arsenal have started to realize. Hold on a minute. Arsenal have started to realize they're a big club now, and they have to spend money. And now, Declan Rice, they're buying Declan Rice. Simple as that.
The problem is you pay over the odds when no one else is in the race. It is literally like you celebrating getting a girl's number, but nobody wants her.
People in the race.
Nobody's in the
race for Sancho. Yes or no?
Yes, and then they pulled out. Yeah, they pulled out.
Yeah, but but you just said then now that there was no one in for him. There was clearly
so at that given point.
Are we acting like this current transfer window isn't relevant? That United have just got Onana and are also in for Amrabat, and they're getting them on very good deals. Listen, Lee, I'd love to be a slandering United, but right now,
they've been doing this for ages. You've been doing this for ages, and you're the reason why we're in this predicament where teams now have to pay over the odds.
And you were in the Arsene Wenger era, where you weren't spending money.
There's also a little bit more to it than that. There's demand and supply, right? It's simple economics 101. There's more teams that are now fishing in the same pool. There's more teams with more money. Newcastle United are coming into the game. Aston Villa's owners have got ambitions as well. It all pushes. The mud gets pushed uphill a little bit when you've got more teams that are fishing in the similar sort of areas. Then you're going to have a little bit more competition. I agree with Gunnar Lee about historically, Man United were overpaying for players that they didn't need to overpay for. But I don't necessarily think that is the only reason why now the market is artificially inflated for players.
No, of course not. No, it's not just the only reason. It's not the only reason, but it's a big reason. That was my point.
It's a dangerous precedent though, because it has over the last 5 years, and again, all of our clubs, maybe not Spurs to the same extent, have spent over the odds trying to land their man. If they think that that's the man to improve and kick their squad on, all clubs here around this panel have went and paid that money. As a knock-on effect, it does then mean the next time Liverpool paid 75 M's for Van Dijk. At the time, it wasn't a question of is Van Dijk worth it from a Liverpool, and this is how people keep framing the conversation. Right? Is Van Dijk worth it right now? No, but in 2-3 years, he might be the best centre-back in the world. Therefore, he will be a £75 million centre-back. Okay, well, now as a result, the centre-back market now, that's the benchmark. If you feel that you're going to get like top 5 in class, you're going to be paying in and around what Liverpool paid to Van Dijk, considering Liverpool got him from Southampton. Same thing can be said for Sancho. Same thing can be said for Pogba, midfield. So all these areas over the last 5-6 years have become hyperinflated as far as I'm concerned, based on the fact that other teams have had to bite the bullet to land their man. Now, when you're talking about the DMs in this particular situation over the course of the last, I'd probably say 12 months, because Enzo went in January, didn't he? He went to Chelsea.
Yeah, January. They had to pay
that release clause. As soon as they had to pay that release clause, every man and his dog knew the next DM that goes, especially because Declan Rice was touted to go in the summer, it was always going to be north of 90 mil. Now, was Declan Rice ever worth north of 90 mil? In my opinion, not. But Arsenal wanted their man, so they was prepared to pay what it cost to get their man.
Sorry, just to interject. Can you explain to me then? Can you give me your perspective and panels on why it is, if there's this level of DM that's out there that everyone's willing to pay up for? Caicedo, you got to pay it. Declan Rice, I know he's not necessarily a DM, but you got to pay it. But then why is there 2 or 3 players out there that they might not be at the same pinnacle? But if it's true that Amrabat is going to go to United for 20 million. Why is there not more competition for that?
Intrigues me more.
And if he has just said, I want to go to United, then why aren't the selling club going, we want 40 or 50? Look at the precedence that's been set around the country.
Yeah. Because also, Italy don't really create revenue as well. They've got to be, you know.
It depends. Fair. There's a lot of factors that will go into that. But I think to the point that you're trying to make is it depends on where your club sees value in that player in the profile. If your manager has got his heart and his eyes set on Declan Rice, you can't then offer him Amrabat for 20 mil because you're going to be like, well, that's not going to get us to where we need to be. In order for me to get us to where we need to be, I need Rice to be operating. And I think there's a lot of tunnel vision in that respect. I think if it was me, and I feel like we're working a little bit backwards, or clubs are working backwards. If, for example, and this was a question that I'm glad that we were able to bring to the actual show. If, for example, Gunnar Lee, you had 100 mil, or I say 120 mil at the start of the transfer window, and you needed to improve your squad, would you have rather got Declan Rice or went and bought Harry Kane? Because when you think of the actual money, if you've got the money to splash regardless, I want the best possible player to elevate my club and take my club to the next level. And you can then say, all right, well, it depends on the system and the manager, but it all comes down to preference. But I'm thinking, why are we working based on player profile and not thinking how much money's in the bank?
If you changed Harry Kane for Mbappe, I would have said, yeah. I mean, Daps knows I don't rate Harry Kane like that because I think it's a mentality thing with him. I don't think that you put him in any top team and he elevates you to win the league, because I've seen him in many big moments fluff his lines. And it's not just him, no, but he's been in too many big moments, in my opinion, for him to get away scot-free. So that's just my truth. So if it was a different player, yes, 100%.
Do you know what? I think this is a great debate, right? And these are the type of debates I love, because if we start going into why people cost so much, there's so much. Like, we all have to understand that, like, it will sit down and look at how much they're going to income. Like, remember the Pogba thing with Man United, and how much apparently Pogba was so much money, but how quickly he generated that money back. There will be that. Amrabat's not going to do that like Declan Rice will. Declan Rice's age, I think Declan Rice's ceiling is so high that there's that as well. I like these conversations.
5 times more money.
Well, I hear you. I do hear you. I don't know. I don't know. All I do know is, and to cut this very short, because this is what I love these conversations, but I call them on streams boring conversations, because I know that the viewers want us to all slander each other's clubs and not have actual conversations like this. The truth is, the people that run our clubs are very clever, very good businessmen. Yeah, so they will know the numbers.
And women.
They will know what everyone's bringing, and ultimately, like, they're not going to waste money. Like, they're there to generate money. Trust me, sure.
My point is just, I don't understand if the precedents have been set around, if Caicedo's here and Declan Rice is there, then how is it that there's such a drop off to Fiorentina? Fiorentina, I think, are one of the only 2 clubs in Italy that aren't in debt. I think it's them and Atalanta are the only 2 clubs that turn a profit, a bare minimum profit, but everybody else is struggling. If they look across the Premier League and they see because of the structure of the pyramid structure of finances, every club in the Premier League has far more money coming in, far better revenue streams just from campaign prize money, all that sort of stuff. Why is it that they are willing to accept 20 when surely they could have asked for 30?
But you know what I'll say as well? I'll say as well, Sean, is listen, Declan Rice is English. He's one of the poster boys for England. He's now seen as this. Look what everybody was saying.
But there's English tax then.
Yeah, no, it's English. Look what everyone was saying. Now we've
got English tax for Sancho and Wan-Bissaka.
Everybody was saying now, because he's come to Arsenal. That's the new captain of Arsenal. They're almost putting him into a position of being a new captain when we've got a great captain. He may not be the leader like Company or Tony Adams or Ledley King from back in the day, or Steven Gerrard or Roy Keane, but he's a great captain in his own right. And people were trying to shoehorn Declan Rice into a position which, in truth, he's never going to get anytime soon. Maybe not ever. And that's my thing. Like, the English tax was one thing. His age of being 24, the poster boy, the fresh new thing in the midfield that works with Bellingham and whoever else goes next.
Also, you guys are in the Champions League now. You guys are you challenge for the league now. You are a big club, man. Why can't Arsenal just realize they're a big club now? You got to spend big money to get big players.
You are missing the point. No. Saeed, you're missing the point.
Let me say this. this was my argument with Liverpool fans this season. We would clearly have been told we had over 100 mil to spend. However, the problem for Liverpool was a lot deeper than resolving the midfield with one man. That's why we didn't go and throw the whole bag at Jude Bellingham, because we could have brought Jude Bellingham in for 105, 110 million pounds, and you'd have been like, great, he's the poster boy. Commercially, he's going to make us our money back over the course of his 10-year contract, or you could have 10 good seasons with him. It breaks down that you've got to play for 12 to 15 mil a year. You could do all of those mad maths on it, but the reality is Klopp needed different profiles within that midfield to bridge the gap against a City. So sometimes you have to then look to see where is the actual value in the market, as opposed to just shoehorning yourself to put the money down for that guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that completely makes sense, man. Guys, please like in the video. Smash up the likes, people, man. If you're watching us right now, it's free to do so. What's going on in Liverpool, man? Errol Spock, talk to me, man. Fabinho, the latest on the Henderson, it's all going mad. What's the latest, man? Lavia.
It's all bad. Like I think with Fabinho, as you mentioned before, 40 mil. It's good value for money. I would have personally preferred to have kept him for one more season if it's true in what we're meant to be doing. And Lavia is going to be the DM to come in and replace him. I think there would have been value in Lavia being able to bring his skill sets to the table, do what you do well, but also learn how the system works and learn from an operator who's been working within that system. I also think I would have liked to have seen Fabinho with fresh legs, fresh ideas, and fresh personnel in and around him this season. I don't think he's as washed as pundits, fans from other fan bases, and some Liverpool fans have actually made out. I was heavily critical of him last season. I felt his performances were massively below par. And if you would have asked me in January, would you get 40 mil for him? I'd have bet your hand off for it, because I don't think he would have been worth that. Do I think he's still a valuable asset to the squad as it stands? I do. I genuinely still think he would have been. We've got the Europa League this season as well. I had a conversation with another lad before on Twitter. He was like, he's got no value to us. You would have offered us nothing. I said, but the Europa League, you're telling me he's not quality enough to play in the Europa League competition? He said, yeah, but not to the latter stages. I said, well, that would have been perfect, because it gives the other lads nearly 6-7 months to bed in. And you've still got a bit of a safety net to fall back on with Fabinho, understanding the club, understanding the fabric of the club and the dynamics. So it looks like he's going to go. 40 mil now allows us to go and get the lad that Klopp wants to replace him again. Young lad, young profile, Lavia. He was, again, doesn't say much, but he was the standout player for Southampton last season. I know they eventually got relegated and went down. I just think that it's asking a lot for me personally, and I'm going to hold judgment on how strong this Liverpool team can be until I've seen us play at least 10 games next, in the season coming up, because that midfield, if you remember, you obviously you don't watch Liverpool as closely as Liverpool fans and myself, but when Fabinho originally came into our squad, it took him nearly the better part of 6 to 7 months before he really nailed down that place and started to look like a baller for us, and it seemed to click in his own mind. You could always see that there was a player in there, but it was about whether getting that consistency out of him on a week-by-week basis. And once he got to that point, he understood the transitions. He understood the way that we needed to play. He understood his role within the squad. It worked, and it worked for a good 2-3 seasons. I think when the legs fell off around him, he struggled, doing more running than he probably needed to do. So I'm a little bit apprehensive to really say, yes, Liverpool are back. Liverpool are going to dominate. Liverpool are going to challenge Arsenal. Are going to challenge City, because I've just not seen... I've not seen enough of a sample size of how this midfield operates together. In terms of the Jordan Henderson stuff, I don't really even want to get too political with it. I know that he's just signed his deal, and he's just going to go and join Jordan Henderson over in Saudi Arabia. He's going to become a very, very well-paid man to play football. And I'm not going to knock him. I'll be honest. I'm not going to knock him for making a decision to go. I think it's not too similar to Kane, but I think if Harry Kane had been someone that had won a couple of competitions in his career up until now, and in a situation where he probably needs to move on from Spurs, I could see him doing something similar and going for big money, because he'd be a star attraction. Saudi clubs and clubs in the Middle East seem to have a real affinity for Liverpool Football Club over the last 10 years, maybe even longer. And as a result, they really highly rate Liverpool football players that have been in the Jurgen Klopp team. So they're prepared to play a gamble on them, take the risk, and bring them over there for their project. They've got an absolutely unbelievable sport project at the moment that they're going on, and there's all sorts of political right and wrongs that are going to come with that. But from a football and purely footballing perspective, I just wish Jordan Henderson the best of luck. He's been an absolute servant and a legend to Liverpool Football Club. Some of the best memories I've got watching my football team, he's had the armband on his arm. And I think that, that says a lot about a player, because when he came in and stepped into Steven Gerrard's shoes, quote unquote, I think everybody doubted that he'd ever be able to reach the heights that Steven Gerrard did. And on pure footballing terms, obviously you can't lace man's boots, but in terms of what he actually took this squad on to be able to do, it's not in short of phenomenal. He's made Liverpool fans' dreams come true. He's done shit that I hope we can continue to replicate. But if we don't, he's given us proud moments that we'll always look back on. And I think as football fans, that's all any of us really want, are talismanic people take us to places where we've not necessarily been on a regular basis. But
spot on, man.
A lot of moving parts in Liverpool at the minute. A lot of moving parts, bro.
Now there's a super chat after this one for you here, but Sean has a good point though, because Brighton have been doing it with good scouting. Why are they able to find cheaper players as good as Rice, e.g. Caicedo? Well, that's scouting. They got scouts in South America, man. You know what I mean? So
they have a different model, Saeed, to most teams in the Premier League. So I've done like a massive deep dive into their database model, because Tottenham are apparently going to try and emulate something. Obviously, they go data first, right? They got the guy Tony Bloom, Brentford do something similar. Matthew Blenheim, those two used to work together for the same company. Star Lizard, they fell out and went the same way, but they basically copy the same model. But they look at the data, but they actually then send, once they've highlighted or identified their shortlist of players that they want to fill in for the person who's on his way out of the club, when they're a selling club ultimately at the moment. But they actually have, rather than like most of our teams have scouts that are geographically based, their scouts are positional based, right? So they have a scout that is only a right-sided centre-back scout, or a left-sided centre-back, or a right-back or a left-back. And they send those guys around the world when they identify those players in Japan or Iceland or Ecuador or wherever it is. But the benefits of doing that, obviously, are being able to fine-tune in and understand the positions to that next level, so that they can then figure out when they go and watch those players play, the data matches up to what they're looking for. Does the player represent the next version of whoever that guy is that they're trying to replace? Whoever the next Caicedo is, whoever the next Cucurella was, whoever the next, insert player here. So their model, the way that they scout, is not just database, but they actually tweak and sort of tinker with the system of how they identify from the shortlist to the actual person that they have figured out is the person to replace. It's very different to how Arsenal and Tottenham do it, and Newcastle, Liverpool.
Let's have it right as well, because I'm going to answer Smokey Settings super chat there in a sec. But let's have it right. Big clubs like Man U, Arsenal, City to an extent now, Liverpool.
That hurt, innit? That hurt you a little bit to say that.
Not really. It is what it is, isn't it? Call a spade a spade. But no, all of our clubs respectively, we let the teams like Brighton, the Dortmunds, the Benficas of this world, we let them do our homework for us. We let them do all the scouting. We let those teams take a gamble on a player.
Expensive model, though, isn't it? For us?
Mate, 100%. We have to pay the brunt of it, but we're prepared to do that because it seemed there's a less risk once we've seen that Caicedo's done X amount of games in the Prem. He's played to a certain level. We know that he's Premier League aligned and he can do it and he can cut it in this league. Right now he is worth whatever, and sometimes you have to pay it. Sometimes, like McAllister, because I think McAllister and Caicedo were both bought for probably a combined 13-14 million pounds. However, McAllister's contract came with the release clause, which allowed Liverpool to then operate in the way that we did. So there are benefits, there are pros and cons to doing it the way that the big clubs do it, but I feel like they're a lot more comfortable because they have the financial backing to say, well, we'll wait. You come over here, let the Brightons, let the Dortmunds, let all the European teams do all of that work. And if it works for them, the next stopgap is a big move to a Spurs, to a City, to Arsenal, to Liverpool, whatever that then looks like.
A big move to who? A big move to who?
At the same level as Declan Rice. Probably. It's too soon to say. I wouldn't want to stick my chest out and say just for trying.
So now, can I say three things? Firstly, I agree with you, but actually, some clubs are now trying to get them at a younger age. I think that's something certainly Chelsea have been doing for a long, long time. City are now doing a bit more. Secondly, it surprised me a little bit that Caicedo, that Brighton in January, when Arsenal were after him and they got him to sign a new contract, I'm mad surprised there wasn't a release clause in there, you know.
No,
I'm
but the release clause is probably 100 million.
Oh, it's too high. Yeah, maybe, Lee, you're right. And the third thing I want to say
is probably like people that is the release clause.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
I wasn't interrupting you. You can go on.
No, you're spot on with that. Actually, I thought about it. They probably put
like,
one too high.
We put in a bid of 80 million, and they said no. Like, so, I think now what happened is just very clearly. Look, put 100 million in. I don't know if it's an actual release clause or like just an agreement or whatever it is. 100 million pounds. Bob's your uncle. You can go, because that's the deal, isn't it? So yeah, look, I mean, it's you're, as Sean said, it's an expensive thing to do, the way that we do it, and that's why I'm actually quite fortunate that we have at Arsenal such a good youth team. We've got such a great an academy, and that's the way that Arsenal are trying to do it.
Great. Do you know what? I'm going to drop. I was going to speak on Firmino, but I think Errol's spoke on him enough. I agree with you, by the way. I think
he's only, the super chat daps.
He's only 20. So last thing.
Yeah,
Firmino, everyone needs to remember he's only 29. So I get that people think he's burnt out, his legs are gone.
29 or maybe 39, man.
Well,
I don't know, man.
That you lot can discuss that. But I'm like, he might have a bit more in him. But
39, I don't know. We need to take that passport, man. Smokey Set is asking here, Errol, do you think Lavia could be on the same levels as Rice one day, based on my last super chat?
I literally said, bro, I wouldn't stick my chest out right now out of tribalism and just say, yeah, the jury's out until I see how he performs and does what he does for Klopp. What I will say is the kid's got a very high ceiling. Journalists from his previous club, or journalists that covered him when he was over in Belgium and stuff like that, have spoken very highly of him. People in the league still speak very highly of him. He's well thought of in amongst the Belgian ranks. But will he reach the same heights as Declan Rice? To be honest, there's an argument to say, if Liverpool, you know how football works, bro. If Liverpool go on to have a better season with Lavia than Arsenal do with Rice this season, everyone will be like, oh my God, Lavia is better than Rice straight away. Declan Rice's individual numbers still may be better. Declan Rice's individual performances still might be better. So it just depends how he works within that team as well. And as I say, until I see how it blends, bro, I love the fact that we've got three brand new midfielders that all offer different skill sets to what we've had before, but it might not work. It's not even that it might not work. It might not work to the level that we've previously had it work to. So until I can see it and see what it looks like, see how it looks, feels, operates, performs under pressure as well, because we're not in the Champions League this season. So our big games are going to come when we book Arsenal, when we book Man U, when we book City, when we book...
Yeah.
That's where we're going to be able to say that's the pressure that you've got to perform under. So to me, until man's able to do that, and I see that on a consistent enough basis, there's no point me just sticking my neck out and just making clips for the sake of making clips. If you want your clip, Lavia he's gonna blow Declan Rice out the water, lad. Every day. Twice on Sunday.
Declan Rice. Yeah.
There you go. Go give them what you want. Go give them what you want.
You might not see the best of him. You might not see the best of Declan Rice until, I reckon, maybe towards like October time, November. Like, I think that midfield needs a lot of time,
100%.
And a balance as well. So I don't think you'll see maybe the best of Declan Rice for a little bit until he kind of manages to get.
Where are you playing him now to see the best of him?
I think for me, I still think he can play the box to box role. I'd play, if I'm being really honest with you, I'd play Partey, Rice as a box to box, and then I'd play Odegaard in that.
So everyone would, I think. Everyone, when they're being real, I think, because that midfield there cooks for me. But it's just Arteta plays it, and I don't.
It will take time to settle in, mate.
Yeah, of course, but still.
I mean, Havertz. What role do you put Havertz in then, or is he a bench warmer? Because you pay that.
Put him in the bucket of regret.
Lee,
how much did you pay for him? Lee, how much did you pay for him?
65 million.
That's a 65 million to have someone sitting on the bench.
Too much.
That's too
Lee,
much.
where would you, Lee? Give us your honest thoughts on Havertz. Honest, because I know you will be honest. Give us your honest thoughts on it.
After the Man United game, my whole thing in life is I hate leaving any situation and having more questions than answers. And I just felt after that game against Man United, let's take away his finishing, let's take away his skill, let's take away everything for a second. Arsenal, and I don't know what you guys would think, but for me, what I thought about Arsenal last season was intensity, drive, passion, work rate, togetherness. None of those adjectives, none of those words come to me when I think about Havertz. You know, when they think about, when you think about a captain, who comes to your mind? Patrick Vieira, Company, Roy Keane, Keane, sorry. For me, as I said, Ledley King, captain. But when I think about those things for Arsenal, I just don't see Havertz for me personally. So I don't know. It's difficult. But you know what? I saw a bit of the game yesterday. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see all of it. I am gonna try and watch it. I've got my little plug to watch the game, and he looks a bit better. He looks to get, but I think the issue that I'm gonna see with Havertz is, and this is what's gonna annoy me, is I think he's gonna get some good numbers. I think he's going to get some good games, but I don't think he's going to make the difference. And in the moments where I think the issue that I'm going to have with him,
where'd you play him? Because you just
that's what I'm saying. Where do you play?
It's not where I'm going to play him. It's pointless you asking me.
Okay.
The manager's going to play him in a left 8 role. That is literally in the midfield. I know it's going to play him there. And look,
I think that's half wasted. Lad. I genuinely.
The thing is, look, ultimately, what is it that every single one of us, our managers, we want all of our managers to have the freedom to do what they want. So I back Arteta. I think he's a great manager. Everybody calls him a genius. Everyone says that he's a great guy and he can get the best out of players. So it's for him to hang himself. And that's it. He's given himself his own rope to hang himself with this signing. So if people, if people don't rate him, that's fine. If he works out to be good, that's also fine. If it doesn't, then ultimately Arteta's got to fall on his sword with that guy.
So,
and that's what he's getting. He's getting all the players, and that's what everybody's saying. Sean, I know he's been a big advocate for this, because I know he kind of doesn't think he's the guy that I believe he might be, and he is. So now Sean has nothing for Arteta to get away with, because Sean now knows he's had £600 million surplus to spend in 4 years, and there's nothing getting away from this now. He has to do something with that money, and that's a fair point. I'm not ever going to hide from it. I'm not going to back down from it, and that's fine. That is not a problem. But what I am saying is, do I like the Havertz signing? No. Do I think he's going to work? No. Do I think he's now going to ultimately not get us to our destination? No, I don't. But what I am going to do is back my players shamelessly, because I have to.
Lee, one last question on this Havertz thing, and it goes back to what you said before about the beauty of Arsenal having young players that you're bringing through. And this is what I keep saying on Never a Foul, right? That I'm not a fan of Havertz, but I actually have said Havertz and Mount, let both of them cook. Because for me, Mount definitely has had a solid 18 months at Chelsea. Havertz never had that, right? So, but I think on both of them, I like both of your managers. Let both of those managers, they must have a vision. But with Havertz, the issue you have is that you've got a youth player there that has come through. He's been out injured, but he's grown. He looks very physical. He can score goals, and he happens to be able to play a very similar role to Havertz. And at the moment, do you not worry slightly that his progress is being hindered? And I mean in Smith Rowe, his progress might be hindered because stocks have to be invested in Havertz, and it might mean that Smith Rowe is looking at it going, I don't really see a route into this team now because this guy's come in and all of a sudden he's jumped.
That's a good point.
Yeah, look, I'm not.
I
was just about to say, I'm not the hugest and the biggest ESR fan, so it actually doesn't bother me. But what I will say is, it can go one way or the other way. It can spur him on, and he finds his spot. Just the same way how Trossard, he looks absolutely really, really good, and it's almost like he almost has to play. But Martinelli got 15 goals, and he was also another really good player for us. So yeah, look, 110%. It is a little bit maybe of a worry for ESR, but look, it then also makes him. He needs to stay fit. He's always injured. He needs to now be able to get more goals and make more assists and be, a little bit more involved in the games. And I think the issue that ESR always has is a little bit like Garnacho, where he's in the game, as in actually playing on the pitch, but he's not involved. He's not dynamic.
The thing is with the Garnacho, he has impact though. Does this
goals? And that's okay, fair enough. And Garnacho gets goals, he gets assists. Whereas ESR, he just lets the game go by, he lets it drift, and that's where my issue is.
And you need that competition though as well, bro.
Yeah, you do.
The same thing can be said for Liverpool and Lavia. Lavia is 19. We had Besetic broke through for us last season. Kid was like 17. So what I mean, you think, like, well, you're going to get Lavia. The course of their careers are going to overlap quite a lot. Are you going to push Bajcetic back? But you think, nah, man, like, if he's going to be good enough, the kid's going to come through in his own way and develop. So I think that you need that competitive edge.
It's going to be interesting to see what Havertz does. As I said, my prediction is he's going to get some good numbers. I think he will get 12, 13 goals, a few assists, maybe not as many, but maybe like 4 or 5 assists. I think he'll get some good return. But I just don't. And look, if you saw the goal he scored yesterday, he'll get loads of goals like that. Well, this morning, sorry, he'll get loads of those. Getting in the box, last man, or just a little flick on, and he scores a goal. And that'll what. But will he turn up with the old adage? Sorry, will he score against Burnley away? I don't think he will. And on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
very honestly,
is he gonna score?
Can he do it on a cold, wet night?
Can he do it
in Stoke? I mean,
I tell you what. Let me tell you something for sure. I ain't doing it in those cold, wet nights up north. So I tell you what, I don't blame him. I don't blame him too much. So
soft guys, man. You Southerners, man. You just do soft,
listen, mate. I don't mind saying it. I got manicure, pedicure settings. Later, you get me? Like, get my feet done. You get me? Like, get them done. You get me?
Special ending, man. Yeah. Listen,
no shorts in December for you, Lee. No shorts in December, no. Okay.
Nah, listen, man. It's one of them, man. I think the ESR debate is a good debate, man. I think for me, will he be one of them players that just, I don't know, man, another Jack Wilshere? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It's serious conversations, man. Another player who doesn't fulfill his potential.
ESR is a good player. He is a good player, but I just think
Wilshere's a good player.
In inconsistencies, very inconsistent, and as I said, too many games he just lets the game drift by, and there's not enough, get up and go. Like, yeah, he got 10 goals in that season, not last season before, but just not enough.
I'm intrigued to see him. Look, I was with you, Lee. I've always thought he's been overhyped by your club. Yeah, I fully hear you. But Cass has been telling me about how much the guy's grown. And when I saw him the other day, when there's people that grow, my guy's grown in every, like, he looks more physical. He looks like he can have more of a physical presence than Havertz. And he does get goals, and he's had a good World Cup. And I just wonder if, because Havertz has just joined and they are similar roles, your squad's big now, Lee. Your squad's very big.
Yeah, it is.
And I just wonder if Smith Rowe might have thought this summer is the summer I get to impress Arteta. But then, unfortunately, he's not getting to impress Arteta as much because Arteta's having to look at both of them. And at what point is Smith Rowe going to think, do you know what? If I'm not careful, my career is going to be going like that. And it might be a time that if Havertz is where he's investing in stock. Look, Sancho left City because he knew Pep was investing in stocks in Foden. So he thought, I need to get out because there's not room for both of us. And at some point, Smith Rowe might go maybe a move away. And it's just, I'm intrigued because I think most Arsenal fans deep down would rather their academy player come through than a guy you bought off of Chelsea because Chelsea didn't want him.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's a good point, man. Big up to everybody still locked in, man. Make sure you keep liking the videos everywhere.
Do you explain why? Do you explain why, Saeed?
Go on, explain why.
Because your channel, you've got mad numbers of subs, but I think you've got this loyal fan base that just watch you and they just forget because they're part of the family. People, you're loyal to Saeed, but the best loyalty you can show is by hitting the like button because that means when this show ends, the show gets pushed out to new people and the subscribe count goes up. So it might not seem like much to you. And a lot of YouTubers just say, smash the like button, and they don't explain why. We are not Boris Johnson. We don't tell you to stay in your house for no reason, Like, we explain why, and then it's up to you. So it helps Saeed out. Be loyal. It takes 5 seconds. Just press the like button, please.
Yeah, man. Nah, big up, man, Daps, man, for explaining that one, man. And what I wanted to explain is Kyle Walker, man. Is he going? Is he not going? No, I've just seen something about Bayern Munich potentially maybe coming back in for him today, coming from Bild, the German outlet. But I can't see him going now. I feel like it's just gone too much, Well, Kyle Walker's a big transfer to get rid of, because he always seems that fall guy where every time you think Kyle Walker's out of the team, he comes back and he delivers in the big moments. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean?
For me, Edison and Kyle Walker are two of Pep's biggest signings. If you look at City the season before we signed the both of them, we finished 3rd or 4th. They came in and transformed the team. Kyle Walker is the English leader amongst the team. We've got quite a few English players. He's a senior. He's one of Pep's 5 seniors. Just so you know, Champions League day, when when Gundogan was walking into the tunnel after practicing before the game, Pep called him to one side and said, after you've done your speech, let Walker talk for 2 minutes. And Walker's kind of just said, guys, like, I'm not playing this time. I've always wanted one of these. As you're senior, go out and win me one of them. So Pep recognises he is a leader and he's our plan B. Look, in April, Pep told him, you don't fit the system. But I know Pep told him, but at some point we'll need you. And Vinicius, we needed him. Rashford in the cup final, you might even say we needed him. So
exactly.
I need him to go, mate. I need him to go to Bayern Munich because I need that to be a possibility for Tottenham to be able to get Benjamin Pavard as part of the Bayern Munich.
Whoa. If
a part of the Harry Kane
you
deal.
better hope we don't go sniffing then, or you haven't got a chance in hell.
Listen, Bill, like the rumor started out today in a really spurious place, and over the course of the day, right. So apparently tomorrow, Tottenham having further talks with Daniel Levy's apparently having talks with the CEO and that of Bayern Munich in London to finally figure out whatever the price is. And I think Daniel Levy is going to put a price that is slightly outside of what Bayern Munich have got in cash. And so the rumors are starting to percolate that it's going to be a player, maybe as a separate deal, because player plus cash things rarely come off anymore because there's too many intermediaries, too many agents trying to get involved and all that stuff. But as a separate thing, and apparently Benjamin Pavard, I don't know. Listen, I was like, when I saw it, I was like, no way, ain't no chance that guy's ever going to want to come to Tottenham. Forget about it. But as the day's gone on, the rumors are starting to pick up from the German side of the media as well that he's actually willing to leave if it is true that Kyle Walker's going to go into Bayern Munich.
Well,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie as well. I tell you, I heard that he's gone 2 days ago.
Bro, what Walker?
No, I heard Kane. Kane.
Kane. I think, bro, I think Kane for me. But I'm back on Walker.
Yeah, 2 days ago I heard that. Found out.
Where I am with Walker is you're spot on. Look, for me, it's one that I would worry about because he is that plan B. But I also understand that you can't always hold on to someone. And a lot of our senior players that have won us so much, I'm not here going, no, we want him to stay. Sometimes once they've won everything with the club, you just got to let them go, right? Because if he sees a new challenge elsewhere, just let him go. You can't hold on to him. He's done everything for our club and we thank him for that. But I would worry it's a plan B. His pace is mad, right? It's but the hardest one for me is that when I look at players of his age, and I said this about Liverpool before they won the Premier League, once they won the Champions League, that once a player has won everything they can with the club, even if they're happy, if they're at a certain age in their career, they'll be like, I'm happy, but I'm going to look out and see what's there. And if there's something that is going to help my family, I'll probably take it. But with Walker, I can't imagine Bayern are offering him more money, right? I can't imagine they are. So I'm unsure. And I think City have put something on the table for him. Bayern have put something on the table for him. I heard Bayern were going to sport. They're both in Japan right now. So they would have spoke. And it's not one I worry about. I'd like to keep him, but if he goes, it is what it is, man. We can't hold on to him.
Kyle Walker's ambitious, though, lad. And I
hear you.
I think that's not necessarily the difference, but I think that plays a part in potentially why he would entertain the conversation about a move. If he knows he's not going to be guaranteed X amount of minutes in this side, in this new look, and there's a manager there that wants to utilize him, wants to utilize his abilities and says, yeah, I back you. There's pull. The German league was competitive last season. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that Bayern were going to do it, but they did, as they typically always do. I think it's last 12 seasons on the spin that they've won their league now.
Is that 12 years in a... Wow.
Yeah. And then if on top of the, what Lee's just alluded to there in Kane going, they could be having conversations anyway of, are you going? Well, are you going? I'll go if you go.
Listen.
You go, I'll go.
Yeah,
and the next minute they both end up in Bayern, and all of a sudden now Bayern Munich are not odds-on favourites for the Champions League, but they become strong.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The person that should be the most worried about this, in that case, is Harry Kane's missus. Because if he's going there because Kyle Walker's going, Kyle Walker's not the type of influence you want around your husband.
No. He's a sick man. I don't even want to speak on it, but I know
Lee, you know what I'm talking about.
He's manicures and them things there.
Hey, he's mad. I got a super chat here. Before I bring this one from Violent, I'm going to bring the one from Smokey. It says, Daps, after watching the game yesterday, you playing good football, by the way. Leroy Sané or Michael Olise? And be honest, because what Sané was doing yesterday was mad, is it? I think
you know what? Yeah. So Bayern Munich looked very similar to when we played them at the Allianz last season. That they looked threatening until they got into the box. And then without a striker, they just look like Mane's lost it now. It's not Mane from back then. And I just looked at him and thought, if they have Kane, and that's what I took from the game was, if I'm a Bayern Munich director, I'm going, go and get Kane right now. Yeah, because you put Kane in that team, completely different team. With Sané, look, Sané for me is one of the most exciting players I've ever seen at Manchester City. Exciting, yeah? Like, I used to like Peter Beagrie as a kid, right? Leroy Sané, he's just an old school winger, innit? It's like Kanchelskis for you boys back in the day, where they excite you, right? But Pep got rid of him. And that was, I know he wanted to go, but Bernardo wanted to go, but Pep keeps fighting to keep him. If Pep goes, do you know what? And I used to see Pep would bring him on sometimes and then nearly drag him because his tracking back was so bad. And however much our fan base love Leroy Sané, and I'd like him to come back, but for me, he's not a Pep player. He never will be, right? Whereas Michael Olise, I think Pep could get, and he could be a Pep player. So, and also
transform him. Yeah.
Both the price, 35 million. I'd take Olise all day long.
That's crazy.
Coming from the guy that just got Gallagher for 40.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Super chat here from Violet says, it's going to be a tough season for Arsenal, not being in Champions League for 7 years and extra pressure to win a trophy. The panel agree. I see them finishing 3rd to 5th.
What, in the league?
I think Arsenal are going to struggle this year. Not because I'm a Tottenham fan. Wow. I said it the other day, Said. I said I think that there's a couple of whether or not Declan Rice settles, whether or not I know that Thomas Partey news looks like he's staying now, but I said a couple of days, 4 or 5 days ago, if Thomas Partey left Arsenal, there was no way you were going to be able to improve that midfield, and your midfield was so instrumental in what you did last year. I saw Arsenal finishing, 5th. That was the difference between 2nd or 5th. But with him staying, I still think that it all depends on how you start. And I think that I agree with what Saeed was saying earlier. I think Declan Rice is going to be, how he settles in is going to be instrumental. But if it takes time for him to figure out, and bearing in mind, I've said it before, I'll say it again, this guy hasn't really got that much experience playing in a possession-based team. And he isn't that, I don't think he's that £100 million player on his technicalities. So if Arsenal hit the ground running and do what they did last year, they'll be fine. The longer the time goes on, I think they'll be better. But they'll grow into the season. But if they struggle from the start, then I think I'm with the guy Smokey here. I think that Arsenal might finish.
It's a pivotal season for Arsenal. I think Arteta's built not necessarily a rod for his own back, but I think that this season comes with the pressure and the expectations. Now, not only is the money been spent to buy in the players that he wants and he believes are going to take him to where they want to go to, but you've now had enough seasons and enough time with these players, and obviously some new additions, to not necessarily get it right, but to now impose yourselves as a serious team and re-establish yourselves within that top 4. And that's no easy feat. Liverpool are looking to improve. City are the constant, consistent. Man U have aspirations to improve. The Newcastles of this world are still going to be there, not going away. Aston Villa, the Brightons, the Tottenhams, Chelsea only playing 1 game a week for the majority of the season. All these things are going to probably be a factor in which I don't know right now. Again, it's an unknown quantity, but Arsenal are going to definitely, and I hope the fan base are ready for the ride that they're going to go on, because this season is going to test Arsenal fans' patience more than last season did. Last season was all fun and games. Last season felt good to be an Arsenal fan. This season, I can imagine the stress.
If Arsenal don't win a trophy this year, Guna Lee, do the Arsenal fans who were Arteta out before last season, do they pivot back that direction if you guys don't kick on again this year?
It's all about context, man. I don't think you can just say simply yes or no. I really don't. I think if you want to be an objective and a proper football fan, not even an Arsenal fan, a proper football fan, I can't just simply answer that question now, can I? I think it'll be remiss of me to do that, to say something like that. But what I will say is, if we tumble out of every single competition like we've done for the last 3 years or 2.5 years, no, it is 3 years, apologies, and don't put up a good fight in the league, 110%, yeah, we should there'll be questions, and there's always a fool guy, as you know, in finance and business, Sean. There's always a fool guy somewhere, whether no matter how high up or how far down, there's always a fool guy. But look, yeah, for sure. Sorry, go on. Sorry, bro.
No. Finish on Arsenal, please.
Look, I think for me, I can see why people think that there's going to be a big problem with Arsenal this season. I'm really not as down on Arsenal as some people are. I think the one good thing that we have is that we've got consistency. And I actually think if you had to ask me a team I'm more fearful of, and it's not because they're here on this show, I actually think Man United are in big, big trouble. And I think the main reason why is
really.
So let me ask you one question before we jump off.
Let me interject after Errol, please.
I thought you were going to say they were going to be like the threat.
Let me interject, please.
We'll be in around where we were.
From your perspective, Gunnar Lee, who is City's biggest title challenge going into next season?
Oh, look, unfortunately, I actually think the gap is going to be bigger than what it was last season. I think they'll win it by 12-ish points. I do.
Wow. Even with losing Gundogan.
I do. And you know what? It was only the other day when I thought that De Bruyne was out for the start of the season, and I saw him on the bench.
Our fitness team's not getting rated enough.
They're immortal.
So hold on a minute. You think the gap's going to be bigger, even though Arsenal have improved, even though Arsenal are 1 year kind of in the mix with this kind of new title race? You think it's going to be even more bigger than what it is?
Who's the closest to them then? Who is the closest to them?
I'm gonna say Liverpool. I have to say Liverpool. The reason why I'm gonna say Liverpool is not because I think they're better than Arsenal. Unfortunately, I think it's because they got Europa League. I think that's the thing.
Doesn't that Liverpool thing, that claim, all depend on whether they figure out that the DM role?
Yeah, no, of course,
and arguably the right back role as well. Because I'm not sure you got your right back.
In reality, you have a.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I think
squad. You guys are Liverpool.
No. Before I say anything, the pressure's on Arsenal to win the league. I think everybody's got to be fair on this panel. I think Arsenal should be in the position to be winning the league for the money we spent, the longevity. Yeah. Not to say that we should do, because the favourites are Man City, and that's fine. But I think the pressure's on. That's what I'm trying to say. The pressure's on Arsenal to try and win the league because we spent the money. Arteta's been backed, and he's been there for 4 years now. That's fair.
So you need more points than you got last year, right?
We need more points, but what I am saying,
break that 90-point barrier.
Yes. So, and that's my. What I was gonna say is, I think if we're going forward as an attacking threat, I don't think we've done enough to get more goals, to get more points, to get you over the top against the big clubs. Because in truth, Havertz is meant to be that guy, isn't he? But he's not, in my opinion. So what I'm trying to say to you four, is I don't think that the needle mover attacking wise for us in Havertz is the player that the manager thinks he is. But do I think that the pressure should still be there? 100%, because ultimately I have to back the manager, and he spent £65 million on a player who is not going to sit on the bench. And he's also spent £100 million on Declan Rice. Let's not forget that.
So for me, as a City fan, when I look at it, Liverpool last season, anyone that knows me, Lee, you know me, I kept saying Liverpool were going to come good. It's a bit like when I was younger and when Man United first dropped off. And I used to say, be careful what you say, because I've been haunted by them as a kid, and eventually they'll be back. Same with Liverpool. And we have to be clear, Liverpool's spine is still very similar, They've still got Alisson, they've still got Van Dijk, they've still got Robertson, they've still got Trent, they've still got Salah, right? If they plug the gaps, for me...
But where does Trent play next year, Daps?
Well,
it's a key question.
Hold on.
It's a really key question.
I hear you. It's key, and I agree with you, because I don't necessarily think he's ready to invert. I think we haven't got a big enough sample size to say he's comfortable.
People were saying he wants to. I saw a couple of days ago on this show, people were saying play him in the 6.
But no, he's not a 6. He can't read the game like that. No way.
Right?
Oh, that's what I mean.
We're going on a tangent now.
You're throwing a lot. There's a lot of questions being thrown into situations where in truth, look, we don't know. We can't throw these questions out too much because ultimately the season hasn't started and we don't actually know. So look, do I think that Trent's going to be good in the 6? Hell no. Listen, actually, let me say, I want him to play in the 6 because it would be hilarious.
So do I. It'd be absolutely brilliant.
But what I am saying is like, just I think sometimes like even like me as an Arsenal fan and with the whole Havertz thing, I do need to give it a try. I have to let things play out a little bit. So like, I don't want to throw my fan primes out too early. Look, everybody 2 weeks ago, why have we not signed this player? Why have we not signed that player? The window had just been 2 weeks old at the time. And I'm like, calm down a little bit.
Sorry, so the second team to me that are going to challenge is because same way I've got to say Liverpool based on the sparring, the fact they've done it for several years. I have to say Arsenal nearly did last year. For me, they've strengthened. If Arteta gets it right, I think Arsenal will challenge. But I want to move on to Man United because everyone is doing this thing now with challenge with if these things don't happen, people have to be like Chelsea. When people going, if Chelsea don't challenge with the amount of money they've spent, listen, if you want to be FIFA and Twitter, do that. But in reality, Chelsea have a new owner, a new manager, and new players. Let's be real, give them a bit of time. Same with United, right? The reason why City has worked, the reason why Arsenal is starting to work is because the direction from the top is clear and obvious for the whole club in this direction. Right now, Ten Hag is doing his damn best, to give direction to this group of players. But the truth is, as a club, right now, Manchester United do not have their captain, as in their owner or their chairman or their board, saying this is the goal, right? So for me, Manchester United just have to stay. Like if Man United, if Man United have a season like last season,
top 4,
then then for me,
I think Man United, for me, Man United, if they can get their 9 fix, and I don't think Hoyland's the guy. I think Hoyland is not the guy.
Big enough, bro, for it.
But I think if
he's too young, he's too young.
They got their eye on the wrong guy. I think Dusan Vlahovic, when he was at Atalanta, he was absolutely incredible. He goes to Juve playing the Allegri system. Didn't suit him at all.
You mean?
What's that?
Vlahovic was at Fiorentina. And then
sorry, Fiorentina. Sorry, but he played brilliantly. Right? He goes to Juve in the Allegri system. Doesn't work at all. I think he's a perfect fit for the Premier League. I think he's. People are sleeping on him. Go and get that guy in, and Man United look like a different beast, in my opinion.
But for me, I just think Man United at the moment, they had a very good first season for Ten Hag. We have to be clear. That was a good first season, right? And where they are right now, I just feel like because there isn't the direction, I do think you're going to get Qatar, but it's going to take a bit of time. Maybe January. You have to, even if they come in time for January, that's not going to be long enough. You have to give them next summer. So I think with Man United, if they can get top 4 or at a push, even 5th and get that Champions League position, go on a bit of run in the Champions League, not win it, but a bit of a run. A couple of cup runs.
I mean, the cups, man. I'm a cup guy now, man.
You can't be mad at it, bro, because at the moment it's where you are. It's where you are as a club.
Give it a Carabao.
Accept it.
If you look at Man United, I think the issue that you're going to find a lot, people are going to think, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, most of my football takes, people never like them, but they always somehow come out to be correct. It
Not
always
all of them, man.
A lot of them. And listen, I'm telling you.
Well, you know,
the reason why Man United aren't going to have this amazing season that they believe is because the manager. And I'll tell you the reason why. The manager needs to evolve his way of playing football. This counter-attack.
Your manager.
No, listen, wait. Just for a second, just calm and don't be so butthurt about something that you haven't even heard yet. I can tell you now. The reason why is because your football. Actually, when we talk about that sustainable, that everybody kept doing with Spurs, it's not sustainable because you can't pass. You can't keep the ball for more than 5 minutes. Your counter-attacking football is excellent against teams like Arsenal because we play one way, which is this whole keeping the football, keeping possession, like Man City as well. But when you play against other teams, they don't want the ball either. So it's literally hopscotch. And for you don't have enough players to get past teams and break teams down because you've got the team.
How long did your process take? Explain.
Yeah, no. So I'm saying, no, hold on. This is what I'm saying. So it's not to say that Ten Hag's a bad manager. I'm saying for this upcoming season.
You just called him a bad manager. You alluded to the fact that Ten Hag is a bad
No.
manager. That's what you said.
Hold on. Do you two stream together a lot? Because I'm noticing. I didn't realise if you two got some mad.
Wait,
like...
just for a second. Just for a second.
He waffles a lot. That's why.
No. Just listen. But listen. Hold on. I'm a school teacher. Open your ears. Listen.
I wasn't
engage.
I wasn't a teacher.
Okay, cool. So
retired now.
You know some of the teaching styles, right? This is direct. This is command style. This is command style right now. So I'm saying to you, 110% right now. Yeah, that's major pause. I'm saying to you, 100% right now. This season, I don't think you're gonna have the season that you believe or that people make out to be. It doesn't mean that your manager's bad, because yes, you're in this process, or it's a project, or whatever, however you want to refer to it as. It doesn't mean that he's a bad manager, but for this upcoming season, I believe you're going to have a bad season because of the way you play. You can't keep the ball. You don't have enough guile to unlock players. You don't have a striker who, in my opinion, can do enough against different types of teams. And ultimately,
can I rebuttal then? Can I rebuttal?
But yes, you are going to play well against teams like Arsenal, because Ten Hag looks like he might have a little bit of Arteta's number in terms of the way he plays. He might have Pep's number with the way he plays, because of the way that we play. We have the ball, whereas you don't like having the ball. That's just the way I look at it.
First of all, there's an evolution in his time. This is his second season now. He's bringing in the players that he wants. Let's not talk about the talent that's there, etc., etc. I like the way you're throwing shade, but my manager won't finish 2 8th positions. My manager, like I said to you, hold on a minute, man. Hold on a minute. He's had a respectable first season, 3rd position, and a trophy. Next season, like I said, there has to be evolution in the way we play. I'm not too pleased at the way we play, but that again, like I said to you, trust the process. That's what Arsenal fans told everyone. Trust the process.
Sorry, you must be kind of. I've watched, because of Cass, I've had to watch a couple of your pre-seasons. I actually think your football's improved over pre-season, to be frank with you.
Yeah, I personally I agree with what Lee's saying about the way that Man United play football right now. But I agree with Saeed also about the process. I think, and coming from a team like Tottenham, who last season is a little bit about what Lee is representing here, that Tottenham can beat certain teams on their day, when, like Man City, for example, when it's one-way traffic and we're set up to handle that. But I actually see the process playing out a little bit faster with regards United, and I think that I do think that Manchester City are going to win the league this season by a higher margin than they did last year. But I actually think Man United are if they can get the right 9 in. And I think Rasmus Højlund's a fantastic talent, right? But to pay, 70 million quid you might have to pay for him? The guy 15 months ago was playing like in front of 600 people in Copenhagen with 2 dogs on the pitch at times, right? That this guy he's got a lot of talent, bags and bags of potential. But to give him that 9 role at United, I don't know if that's a little bit of a step too far, too early. For me, a different player might be the right man for the job. However, if Man United get that particular signing correct and you go and get Amrabat, I think people would be silly to sleep on United putting up a title challenge this year.
But that goes back to what I started saying, that with Ten Hag, and I think Saeed just said that, he's got his ambition and he's trying to target these players. That's where I think we have to say with Man United, and this isn't shade on Man United, this is where they are, that right now he's got a limited budget. Right, he has. I think there's no doubt if Ten Hag could go and blow everyone out the water for Kane, which in a year's time I think he might be able to, he would. But he's been given a budget, and that's why he's probably going for Amrabat, because he knows this is the money I've got, and these are the holes I need to fill. So just give me the money I've got, and I'll go and fill the holes the best I can to keep us where we are to go next season. But anyone that thinks, even if Man United get Kane, I'm sorry, but the drop off with their squad to the others is not quite there to do what Man United want to do. But it's not a bad thing. It's just where they are. You just have to accept it. In a year's time, it'll be different. But right now, tread water. In a year's time, you're ready to go.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on, man. Like I said to you, man, it's a big season for Ten Hag, man. New expectations. I don't think we should be letting him off. She now has to play a bit of better football, but also, like I said, we want to see not a challenge yet, but a bit more better consistently away from home as well. Because some of the results, especially at Anfield, cannot happen again. Like these big results that we have been losing away from home cannot happen again.
What happened?
Well, yeah. Yeah, no. Anyway, it was good to see Big Steve on the MC official Man City pre-game show. Hopefully soon you'll be there. I like the way you break it down. Yeah, man. Big up Daps as well, man. I think you've done stuff with Man City as well.
I have, but he's in the studio. He's part of the furniture now, and that's that's
man.
how we all want it. Like that's how we want it. He's
you know what? I love that, man. Because it's about
I'd rather be on the front
man.
line. So, but
big up, man. That's real, man. That's real love, that, man, for Steve. So big up to Steve, man, smashing it over there. And Lee is putting his lips on United bad season.
No,
wow,
listen,
man, that was
listen. I heard Kaz talk about that the other day on Never a Foul. Shout out to them, and I was like, bro,
big up, man.
Bro. I was like, yo, man.
He's just getting warmed up, innit? Listen, Kaz has been very middleman, being calm, but he just wants to be shameless. Listen, I have to watch him while there's friendlies on, and he's on his
shameless
phone.
times 10.
Like, 5 minutes into a game, I see him sniggering. I'm like, who's conceded a goal? And he's picking up his phone. He's on his phone. I'm like, Cass, just calm down for a minute.
Yeah. Listen,
that's what he does, man. So
Kaz is my absolute boy, my brother. But yo, them some of those streams lately, madness.
Well, I won't tell you about the FA Cup final because I had to drag him
madness.
Out of his room
Madness.
Day,
so.
Kaz, that's crazy, man.
Kaz, you're my guy, but calm down, my guy.
Yeah, man. Big up Kaz each and every time. Never a foul. But listen, man, that's been the first episode of the Premier League debate show, man. Like I said, any Premier League debates you want us to discuss, let us know. 1 week it might be VAR, 1 week it might be, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying to you? Like slide tackles now, apparently in pre-season, are a thing now. Arsenal fans are crying over slide tackles, and people are just crying in general. You know, Xavi was crying yesterday apparently about Arsenal's intensity and the way they were rough and whatnot. So it's crazy, man. So let us know what you want us to debate. Errol, it's been a pleasure, man. Let them know what you got up to and let them know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, so obviously we'll be locked in here of a Thursday from now on for the season. So I'm looking forward to some debates, looking forward to the chatting with the panel. You can catch me over on Poch channel as well, the 12-man podcast. That's usually on a Tuesdays. Red Men, I'll be on Red Men TV for you Liverpool fans out there as well. Home game watch-alongs, probably do a little bit extra content with them. And obviously Big Brother Grizz. I'll be linking up with Grizz plenty for next season.
Come on, Big Brother Grizz.
They're the bases and places that you'll find me, but obviously Solitaire Side up on Twitter. And yeah, just stay locked and obviously love to the panel and big up everybody in the chat.
Yeah, big up to you, man. Big up to you, Errol, man. Sean, you are the wise man in it, and you give us the kind of financial situations and everything, man. So big up. I've been getting loads of messages about you, man. They're saying bring Sean back on every time, man. So big up to you, Sean, for jumping on.
Appreciate it, mate. Yeah, I'm enjoying coming on the kind of wider Tottenham, the wider stuff outside of Tottenham. But if you are a Tottenham fan or you're interested in Tottenham stuff and or outside of that, I'd always dial into whatever's going on with FFP, the ownership, multi-club stuff, any of that thing that you might be interested in learning about. Then you can find that stuff on the Spurs Talk Show. But yeah, really appreciate having me on and appreciate the afternoon with you guys, and also shout out to the chat. You've been awesome.
Yeah, man. Big up to you, Sean, man. Daps, big up to you, man. Quick, sick debut on the channel. I think it's the first time. I don't know.
First time.
Is it the first time?
It's first
time. Crazy.
I've been waiting for it,
big
and I'm thinking this guy doesn't like me. He clearly.
Yeah, no. It's all love.
I'm joking, Mo. But also, if you like watching Sean take his dog for a walk and failing to control his dog, also follow him, because that's the best part of his shows, where he can't get his dog. But yeah, listen, Never a Foul. Go and watch Never a Foul every day, usually around about 2-3 p.m. and then 10 p.m. Myself, Cass, Ty, Mo. Yeah, and it's generic football chat, which means we talk about hot topics and then we get accused of having agendas. So those sensitive Arsenal fans, calm down. And
I got to get back on Never a Foul, man. I did apologise to your boy Kaz.
No.
He's been texting me, and I've been sick, so I haven't.
I get it. No, the fame's gone to your head. It's fine.
Nah, big up, man. Big up.
I love having me on. I already like this panel. You know, when you get a good vibe.
Nah, big panel, man. Solid panel, man. Solid panel. Gulali, big up to you, man, for coming on, man.
Nah, 100, man. Listen, you'll definitely see me on Never a Foul. I'm either there sometimes on a Sunday or a Tuesday. But yeah, AFTV, I'm obviously there quite often, every week. And yeah, definitely on my own channel. I keep saying it, I have to keep getting onto it, but just life, man. Life happens, man. But yeah, for sure, make sure you definitely follow Sean as well, because I have seen some of his financial expert stuff, and he's good. But I don't know if any new Spurs fans are going to follow him, because I mean there are none, are they? So.
Sorry, can I just say,
they're all in Brentwood with me.
This is a hot one. I haven't said this, and I was waiting till I'm back down there, but I'll say it now. Lee, when you're down there around Robbie and all the AFTV DR lot, can you ask them why they haven't had me on since they lost at the Etihad? Can you just ask them that for me, please? Because
I mean,
no, you just ask them, but I'll ask them when I'm down there. But I'm just a bit confused at why they were getting me in.
They want no sharks, no more sharks, baby.
They wanted me on watch-alongs for Chelsea v Real Madrid.
This is a back room conversation, not a front room.
Not with me, bro. Not with me.
I was going to say, man. You know what I mean?
Not with me, bro. It confuses me.
Yo.
It confuses me. The minute all of a sudden the title race swings, they don't want to be around me. It's kind of weird. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, man. Show some love to Daps, man. Like, what's going on, you lot, man? Like,
bro, my pockets are low,
man.
Please.
Yeah, man. But nah, big up, man. Big up to you, man. Daps, see you in 10. Yeah, you got a show together or something? You got a show now?
He's coming around. It's my birthday, innit? You didn't even say happy birthday.
Oh yeah,
no,
it's big up, happy birthday.
And can I just say happy
with
birthday
obvious card.
I'm sipping the Maggie and everything, you know. It's his
this thing on the Magnum. That's what it is. I haven't tried this drink. I need to try this drink of yours.
Well, if you came to the barbecue once, you try it. But also, I just went for a trim, and the barber kept giving me shots of brandy as well, which was mad. So I've actually held it down well.
Loud trim though. Shout out to Barber though, still.
But also, can I just quickly say as well, just a quick one. Happy birthday to my dad and rest in peace, please. Thank you. Because we shared a birthday.
Man.
So
rest in peace, man. Definitely, man. Big up to you, man. Nah, love, man. Big up to everybody here, man. I'll be back tonight, people. America Talks. So got a load of Americans talking about football, man. It's quite fun, you know, man.
Soccer.
So yeah, well, we don't say that word and they even agree with it. So big up to them, man. So we're out. Follow everyone and we'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.